Yes, I am crazy, starting a full-time art career this late in life, and I'm fully aware of the whole starving artist trope. Okay, I've always done something creative and artistic. I've been in the film industry for the last 20 years, and last year I decided it was time to move on. I'd done just about everything you could do on a film set, worked on every kind of production you could think of, from music videos to live events to regular full-length films, and it's just a very up and down industry, and I didn't really like where it was going anyway, so it was time to move on. I decided to fall back on a hobby that I've really enjoyed and become a full-time fine artist, specifically oil painting, fantasy art, Western folklore, and all kinds of different things, cool stuff. So you can go over to benjuhlart.com if you want to see some of the stuff that I'm doing, but that's not really what this is about. What I want to do today is just tell you that I'm going to share this journey with you, and that you're going to hold me accountable by watching these videos, and I'm going to offer you a primer as I make mistakes and sometimes good choices as well. That's all part of turning pro and building a business. So I want you to be a part of that. I recently listened to an audiobook. I don't have great reading retention, so I like to listen to audiobooks. I was listening to a book called The EMyth by Michael E. Gerber. Okay, the EMyth stands for entrepreneurial myth. And I'll quote this in there, paraphrasing: 40% of all startups, small businesses, fail within the first year. 80% fail within the first 5 years. And the main reason why is that they don't set up the beginning infrastructure. And it really started to resonate with me because I've started businesses before in the past, and I've had some businesses that I did for years to varying levels of success, and some, didn't work out so well. And what he said in here made a lot of sense, because you need different characters in positions within your business to handle specific tasks. And the way he broke it down is you need at least these three individuals. You need a technician, a manager, and an entrepreneur. Again, paraphrasing in there. Now, the technician would be the artist, the creator, the romantic person who said, I love doing art, so I'm going to start an art business. If you like to cook, you might say, I'm going to start a restaurant. But oftentimes we're not taking into consideration everything else that goes into opening a restaurant, running a restaurant. That could be 98% of what you end up doing. Cooking becomes a very small part of it. A manager oversees the time, the money, the schedules, makes sure everything gets done, takes care of the accountability of productivity. And then the entrepreneur foresees where the business can go, its growth, its profit potential, and how it can scale. So you need these three individuals to produce, to manage, and to grow and move on to bigger and better things. But for the first year, it's going to be me, and that's it. So I got to find ways to put in some kind of a surrogate into the system to get everything done that I need to get done and keep the business together until I can get a manager and an entrepreneur in there. So the surrogates that I will share with you today is an S.O.P, which is a standard operating procedure, the brass tacks approach. I'm going to explain to you what that takes the place of, and then a foundation. I'm going to build a solid one, okay? And then maybe I'll have a bonus at the end. We'll see here. So with no manager, I need an S.O.P, standard operating procedure, right? There's so much that goes on within a business that needs to be done in order to pitch and promote and organize and batch activities and all of that. To avoid decision fatigue, I put together a flow chart. I showed this off in another video, but this is my flow chart. I wrote down all the different things that I needed to get done during the month and the tasks within each one of those platforms in order to achieve what I want to achieve and get done what I need to get done. You get it, because I'm running a business here. From that, I made an accountability checklist. And so that accountability checklist is my standard operating procedure, that if I get those things done, each month, each week, each day, set up for the next day, then I'll get done what I need to get done. So I will be sharing that list, by the way, also with my Patreon community. The second thing that I'm putting my attention on right now is the brass tacks of the business. Right now, as much as I love getting into the flow of painting, there's nothing better. I need to stay unromantic about it and focusing on brass tacks. That is the business. I'm learning as much as I can about the business. Now, look, I'm not a business person. I'm an artist. I know that. But in the meantime, I need to do what I can do to avoid overthinking and adjusting, tweaking my stuff, noodling for days. You can't do this if you're in business. Those are luxuries for a hobbyist. And there's nothing wrong with just making it your hobby. But if you're building this into a business, you need to make quick decisions. You need to work fast, go with your gut, your instincts, and set deadlines, man. That's what you got to do. So get unromantic. The third thing is that I don't have an entrepreneur working with me. And I know I'm using these terms, very specifically. It could be a little bit more fluid, but I got to build a foundation right now. I am sort of thinking how the business can scale. But for right now, I just need to set it up for that long-term thinker. Somebody who's going to come in here and say, wow, based on what you've built so far, I can turn your art into an empire. I don't even want to be the person that really thinks about that. It's not really my forte. That's not what I'm good at, right? I want to paint. That's what I want to do. But in the meantime, I also need to sell prints and I need to collaborate and, go out and be seen, show my work and offer inspiration and instruction, all of that. I'm doing that here and on my Patreon channel. And then later on, we'll focus on licensing products and sponsorships and expanding the business and all of that kind of stuff. I mentioned that I'd share a bonus here, so I'd say this. It still works with the unromantic thing. Don't worry about perfection. Perfecting is boring. Working fast, keeping that momentum going as much as possible, automating tasks. And I do use AI from time to time, not as a crutch, but as a tool to organize a few things and maybe get a couple of ideas here and there. AI is not a bad thing. Use it as a tool. That's what it's there for. So go back to the beginning here, streamline and adjust. I'm using my S.O.P as a manager right now. That's my standard operating procedure. I got unromantic about what I'm doing. I'm working faster and I'm focusing on the brass tacks approach to the business right now. And I am thirdly building the foundation so that I can excite that future entrepreneur. That's what I'm doing with my first year of activities. Let me know if this helped you at all, if you got anything from this, and if there's anything that you can add in the comment section down below. Maybe your comment will be of more value to people who come here than even my video. That would be cool because that's what builds community. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this. I want to thank you so much for being here. I'm Juhl, and we'll talk next time.